Take a guess. What does it cost to ship a 40-foot container, 12 meters long, loaded with over 20,000 kilograms of cargo, from Shanghai to Los Angeles? That's more than 10,000 kilometers across the Pacific Ocean. The answer, at today's market rate, around $3,400. That's less than many Americans pay for a local house move, and spread across every item packed inside that box. The ocean voyage often costs less than a dime per product. I work in export trade. Shipping is the part of my world I deal with every day, and today I'm bringing my own price quotes from freight forwarders, plus the public rate indexes the whole industry runs on, to break down exactly where the money goes. And I'll show you something most people never see. Why a small seller pays many times more for the exact same ocean. Before we talk money, meet the box itself, because this box quietly built the modern world. A standard 40-foot container, 12 meters long, roughly 68 cubic meters of space in the high cube version, rated to carry about 22 tons of cargo. Simple, ugly, identical to millions of others, and that's exactly the point. Here's what most people don't know. This thing is barely 70 years old. Before the 1960s, cargo crossed oceans loose. Crates, barrels, sacks, loaded and unloaded by hand, piece by piece. Port costs alone could eat a huge share of the shipping bill. Moving goods across the ocean could swallow a quarter of a product's entire value. For cheap goods, over half. At those prices, most global trade simply wasn't worth doing. Then, a trucking company owner had a blunt idea. Stop touching the cargo. Seal everything in identical steel boxes. Lift the box, not the goods. Cranes replaced armies of dock workers. Ships, trucks, trains, and ports around the planet standardized around one box. The result? The cost of ocean shipping fell by roughly 90%. Not 10%, 90%. Everything in our first 3 videos, the incense, the lighters, everything flowing out of Yiwu. All of it rides on this box. The $15 retail incense with a $2 factory price. Only possible because the ocean in between is nearly free. Today, let's see exactly how nearly free works. Now the bill. Let's price a real container, Shanghai to Los Angeles, at the market rate as I record this. The ocean freight, about $3,400 for the box. And I want to be precise here because precision is the whole point of this channel. That number moves every single week. It's a market price, like oil or wheat. The industry tracks it with public indexes, the same way stock traders watch the S&P. Today, it reads around 3,400. Next month, it will read something else. And that headline number already bundles in a stack of surcharges with names only freight people love. Fuel adjustment, peak season surcharge, port congestion fees. The industry wraps them all into the rate. But the ocean is only part of the bill. On the China side, customs declaration, the truck from factory to port, terminal handling. On the American side, import duty, which depends entirely on what's in the box and its declared value. Then port fees, unloading, and a truck from the port of Los Angeles to a warehouse. Stack it all up, and the full door-to-door logistics cost typically runs meaningfully higher than the ocean freight alone. So, is that expensive? Here's the arithmetic that breaks people's brains. 68 cubic meters swallows an absurd amount of small goods, tens of thousands of items. Say 50,000 units in one box. $3,400 divided by 50,000. That's under 7 cents per item. For crossing half the planet, 7 cents. You cannot buy a stick of gum for the price of shipping a product across the Pacific. In our very first video, I told you the ocean is nearly free, and the box of incense proved it. Under 50 cents of freight on a $15 product. And incense ships as sensitive cargo with extra handling. Now you've seen the machine behind that number. Volume doesn't just lower the price. Volume is the price. But here's the twist. That cheap ocean is not guaranteed. Container freight is one of the most violently swinging prices on Earth. For the entire decade before the pandemic, Shanghai to Los Angeles averaged under $1,800 a box. Then 2021 happened. Supply chains jammed, ports clogged, and the exact same box on the exact same route shot past $20,000, more than 10 times the normal price. People in the industry called it a once-in-a-century market. Think about what that did. Some cargo became worth less than its own freight bill. There were factories that found it cheaper to just stop shipping. A box of goods worth $20,000 facing a $20,000 ocean bill. The math simply died. And then it crashed right back down to a few thousand. Why does it swing so hard? Because ships are slow to build and fast to fill. A new container ship takes years to construct, so in the short run, the world's shipping capacity is basically fixed. But demand can explode overnight. When everyone wants space on a fixed number of ships, a slot becomes an auction. When demand cools, suddenly there are too many ships, and the price collapses. That's why freight rates are like a heartbeat monitor for global trade. Every crisis, every boom, every canal blockage shows up in that one number. So a fair warning, the prices I quoted today will be different by the time you watch this next year. The exact dollars change constantly, but the logic, thousands of dollars spread over tens of thousands of items, landing at pennies each, that logic doesn't change. Now let me show you my own quote sheet. Because the same ocean has two completely different price tags. What if you don't have enough cargo to fill a container? Then you ship small, consolidated sea freight or small parcels. This is my world. I priced this out with multiple freight forwarders for my own goods. Here's what they quoted me. Consolidated ocean freight, door to door with duties included. Roughly $3.50 per kilogram, with minimums as low as 12 or 21 kilograms, arriving about 25 days after the ship sails. Air freight small parcels, many times that per kilogram, but landing in 7 to 10 days. Now compare. A full container, 22 tons for $3,400. That works out to roughly 15 US cents per kilogram. Read those two numbers side by side. The small seller pays over 20 times more per kilogram for the exact same ocean, the exact same 3 weeks of water. Why? Because the small seller isn't just buying space on a ship. They're buying a bundle, someone to consolidate their boxes with strangers' cargo, clear customs, prepay the duties, and hand the parcel to a US courier for final delivery. Plus the plain overhead of handling a small order at all. Every layer of service, every touch gets built into that per kilogram price. This is the tax on being small. And it finally explains the word that has echoed through every episode of this channel. Volume. Why the incense factory lives on bulk orders. Why Shaodong's lighter makers weld themselves into clusters. Why Yiwu can serve the entire planet. Because at the logistics layer, volume isn't just an advantage. Volume literally is the price. The e-commerce seller shipping 30 kilograms and the mega retailer shipping 30 containers float on the same ocean. They just pay for two different oceans. So let's step back and look at what you've now seen across 4 episodes. How a product gets made, the incense, how an industry roots itself so deep, nobody can move it. The lighters, how a marketplace knows what to make before you want it. Yiwu, and today, how it all physically crosses the ocean, inside a steel box, for pennies per item. And the deepest truth is the same one every single time. Nobody in this chain wins big. The system runs on razor-thin slices, multiplied by staggering volume. The ocean is nearly free, only because 50,000 products split the bill. Take away the volume, and, as every small seller knows, the same ocean suddenly costs 20 times more. Next week, we tackle a question I get asked constantly. Why doesn't the American shop just buy directly from the Chinese factory? Skip the middlemen, skip the markups. It sounds so obvious. I'm one of those middlemen, so I'll show you exactly what we actually do and what happens when you try to cut us out. If you want the real economics behind the things on your shelf, subscribe. I'm here every week.